Well, welcome to a special edition of Ascend the Hill. We're going to be diving into our Miracle Sunday, which is quickly approaching. So we're going to have a quick little podcast here just to kind of lay out what we're doing, what's going towards, and why we're doing that. And so I'm joined by, obviously, Pastor Jeremy, who the podcast is named after, So Miracle Sunday, how you feeling about it?
Well, I'm anticipatory.
Okay.
Like I am hopeful. I mean, our church has rung the bell in generosity over and over and over again. We have a congregation with many faithful tithers, faithful givers, and I'm so grateful and appreciative for that. We just felt like with the vision of the house and our heart's desire to make an impact globally, that it would be really valuable to set one day aside and say, this is going to be a very special day of giving. In the past, we've done Cornerstone Christmas. So it's kind of in the same vein, but rebrand, if you will, a little bit earlier in the year, and also a different point of emphasis. Yeah. So Miracle Sunday, we called it that because anytime one more person gives their life to Jesus, one more family is touched, one more person is dripping with baptismal waters, one more sinner comes home. That is the ultimate miracle. And that's what this offering really is about. It is about reaching more people and seeing the duplicated over and over again miracle of one more person coming to Jesus.
Yeah, and so we've split into kind of three categories. We handed out a magazine, so if you're watching, you've not gotten a magazine, come to church, grab one. We've got plenty, one per family, Yeah. So we've split it into three categories. We've got local, which is fueling the ongoing work that God's doing here at Cornerstone. Right. What a year we have had.
It's been awesome.
We have seen, I think the number today is over 170 baptized.
Come on.
This year, which passed last year's 141.
Good.
We've seen over 375 people give their life to Christ this year.
Come on.
And we've got 700 plus in life groups connected to the church, and then our weekly attendance in the last 6-7 weeks, we've seen God do some incredible things.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown by about 10% or so in the last 6 to 8 weeks, and the Lord's moving. Like we've kind of shifted into a different gear here in I guess would be the second quarter or the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter of the year, and so. Like a lot of what our giving is focused on is just the day in, day out local church ministry. What in the magazine, it talks about some capital projects, hey, cameras for online presentation, carpet, HVAC, roof, that kind of stuff. Those are things that are inevitable needs. This offering doesn't necessarily go specifically to those things. It goes toward helping us become increasingly financially strong as a church, because those are things that are needs that are coming that we're going to have to address. But before, you can meet those needs, you've got to continue to grow and fund the day in, day out work of the ministry. Again, that leads to teenagers being saved, kids being saved, families being transformed. And so that's part of the giving, just the reality that day in, day out, great ministries happening here at Cornerstone.
Yeah, and so our next category is our global impact through our strategic partnerships of Convoy of Hope and Priority One. Convoy has fed, I think, over 600,000 children this year through their strategic feeding program. And then they've even trained over almost 40,000 farmers in agriculture to keep that going. And so we partner with them, then we partner with Priority One, who I know you got to go on a trip with.
Yes.
But they are raising up church leaders and pastors in the country of Tanzania, where Cornerstone we've been sowing seed for years there.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you want to speak to that for just a moment.
Yeah, we just want to connect with organizations and ministries that are doing the type of kingdom work that we think aligns with us. And Convoy does that through compassion, through Mercy Ministries, and like you said, through development in third world countries and places that need not just resources, but the ability to maximize the resources they have. Convoy of Hope also really engages in women's rights in places around the world where women are subjugated or they are pushed down the societal ladder. So it's a great organization. And on top of that, it's one of the most fiscally responsible, well-stewarded organizations, charitable organizations in the world. Priority one is building Bible colleges so that pastors, church planners, missionaries, evangelists can go forth into the fields of harvest. Jesus said, pray for laborers.
Yeah.
The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. When we partner with Priority One, we are partnering with more laborers to go and get the harvest. It's just too great. And Priority One is in Tanzania, but they're in dozens and dozens of nations around the world.
Right. And then our last focus is our Hendersonville campus, which is just 16 Sundays away from launch today. And so we're right on the cusp of this happening. And so we've got some financial needs. And so we kind of have to do some renovations in the building, kind of update some things in the building. So in the magazine, there's kind of a list of what's kind of happening.
And that list is like what the funds will help.
Yes. Yeah. And, we're planting a church.
Yes.
And so there's expenses in planting a church, a campus. But we also, because we have gone through trainings and things with the Church Multiplication Network, we actually have matching funds available to us of up to $75,000, which is a huge advantage for us.
Yes.
And so we're giving to reach people that otherwise we may not reach over there. And I'm fired up about it. I mean, obviously I'm biased to it, partial to it, but over the last couple of months, we've been doing preview services and we've just watched as God started to pull pieces together.
Yeah.
And so it's been very unique.
Well, number one, you plant churches because statistically speaking, it is the best way to reach new families and impact a community. And the church has been planting churches since the book of Acts. So we're just doing what we see modeled in the Bible. And you think, man, why does it cost that much to start a church? Well, we just are fortunately positioned with the ability to start a church that will have all of the ministries to the whole family, all of the elements of Cornerstone available from day one. And so it just allows you to hit the ground running as a church that is established and has all the functional ministries needed to care for families and care for the community. And that's just our it's an opportunity in front of us that we want to take advantage of. And so it does cost. It's equipment, and not to mention we own the building. And it's a really unique church planning scenario because most of the time church planning, it's like, hey, we meet in a school, we rent a space, but we own a building. It has bills. And so part of the generosity is to help get us a few months down the road. So that, man, the strain of paying a note, we've got kind of ahead of the curve there.
Yeah.
And so because we've had a church renting from us, so it's not been a bill, right? It's been covered, but now we're launching a church there, and so it becomes a bill. And so just super practical.
Right.
But the biggest thing is we're planning a church because we believe God miraculously, strategically gave us that property. And he did it because he wants us to plant a church there. You and Sydney are from the community, and we believe without a doubt you are God sent, you are God's pick to launch that church. And we've talked about how, in the realm of logic and numbers, this is not like the time you plant a church. We got plenty of empty seats in our sanctuary, and we don't have a surplus of cash, right? But we feel that it's time, that it's a Kairos moment. The moment of opportunity has come before us. And when you have a moment of opportunity, you live in faith and you say, I am confident the Lord is going to help us do this. Not let me get every single penny I need and every duck in a row. We're going to move on the opportunity in faith.
Yeah. And so you may be listening and you're asking, well, how do I get involved in that? One of the questions we ask around here, and we usually say it every Sunday, is, God, what do you want me to do with your money?
Yes.
And so this is an above and beyond gift, and above and beyond what we give our tithe, our 10%.
Yeah.
And so we've been asking everyone, staff's been asking, God, what do you want me to give?
Yeah.
And I know we put a video out a couple of days ago on social media where you kind of addressed that, like, God will give a number. He will speak to your heart, and it's probably going to stretch you.
Yes.
So I don't know if you would.
Well, I think number one, I would hope that every person would ask, whatever your economic situation, this isn't about who gives the most.
Yeah.
This is about every believer being submitted to the Lord and asking, and then saying, all right, I'm going to work to do what I feel the Lord is leading me to do. And I cited in the video you referenced just the creativity that the Book of Acts church operated in to meet the needs. And I believe that when the Lord asks us to do something, he gives us the creative thought, the ideas. And we say above and beyond the tithe, like we're going to tithe that day like normal.
Yeah.
Like we're going to, everybody's going to tithe that day like normal, but then like we're going to add to the tithe.
Yeah.
We're going to add above whatever our tithe is. And that might come in the form of, hey, I'm going to tithe off my savings account, or, I'm going to sell something. That's what they did in Acts. I'm going to sell something and I'm going to give that, or whatever. I really want to be guarded. And I've told our board this, I've told different staff members, I don't want to bait anybody into anything. I want everybody to hear from God and do what God has called us to do. I will say, man, it would be, I'm praying for a $300,000 plus offering that day. I'm asking the Lord for that because I know in that, man, the things that we're hoping to accomplish would be accomplished.
Yeah.
But we'll celebrate, as we do all the time, whatever bit of generosity. Every penny that comes into Cornerstone is somebody's worship. And we talk about that as a staff. Man, we cherish it and we handle it right because it's somebody's worship.
So the last question here is why?
Yeah.
Why the miracle offering? Why? Well, we referenced it earlier. God's been doing something in our church, and so we have a couple of the stories about what he's been doing. And when I read these, they fire me up.
Yeah.
They're so good. So we just want to share a couple of them. I guess we can go back and forth.
Sounds good.
So we have a teacher in our church. She's a teacher at a school, and she invited two of her fellow teachers to come. They got saved on the Sunday they were here. They were at the Encounter weekend, and they got baptized as well. And now they are here every week.
Come on.
They've plugged into the church. And so it's just wins like that.
Yes.
So
one of our life groups in the last couple of months has almost doubled. We had last week 2 new families that attended. One of our life group members invited a family that lives close to them to the life group. And so they're going to be joining next week. So even through our life groups, you're seeing families being reached, not just, hey, on Sunday morning, but in the homes, like you see in the book of Acts, through life groups, people are being reached. And it's extending. You're talking about into sisters, into daughters that are being invited. I had a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago that were being baptized, one of their kids was being baptized, and they're like, hey, we had 2 families here with us today, and they're like, we're in. Like, God's touching us. We want to be a part of Cornerstone. You can share some more.
Yeah, so we had a guy in our church respond to an altar call and kind of stand in the gap for his brother who was facing cancer, had a surgery that was coming up. So he goes into surgery to get the spot removed, and they open him up and realize it's gone.
Come on.
The cancer is completely gone. They couldn't even perform the surgery. So it's just an incredible moment where somebody stood in the gap in faith and believed that God would heal him.
Let's go.
And he did. Completely healed. But the same guy who came and stood in the gap for his brother was dealing with some stomach issues. and believed that if he got prayed for, it would get healed, and it did.
Come on.
Completely went away. So he's not just doing it for other people, he's doing it for the people praying too, which is just exciting.
Come on. Tell this other one.
Yeah.
Here.
So then we have a lady in our church who was diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease a couple of years ago, and she ended up actually having to have gastric bypass surgery, kind of in fear of what might happen. So she responded to a call at the Women's Encounter Weekend for healing. And she began in that process to thank God for her healing. Well, she got some test results back, and her liver is 100% healed.
Come on.
Completely normal, which is amazing. And so that's documented with results. And so it's just been amazing to watch. And then we've got, story after story of families getting baptized together.
Yes.
That's been one of the most unique moments. Is it's not just one person getting baptized, but entire families are being baptized. And so it's just been so special.
There was a mom of adult kids that caught me between services a few weeks back and said, I'm going to stay for the 10:30. My daughter's coming. Like, she needs the Lord. And I'm just believing. Well, we have 10:30 service, preach, give an altar call. That adult daughter comes, gives her life to Jesus, gets baptized. Now there is a work of the Lord happening in the family. And we're talking about a prodigal. We're talking about, we pray for that a lot in our church, that we have a lot of congregants who their adult kids are far from God. And man, we're just standing in faith that son after son, daughter after daughter is going to come to the Lord. It's why we plant a church in Hendersonville, because there are people in Hendersonville that won't come to Cornerstone in Nashville, but they'll go there.
Yeah.
It's why we give across the world to Priority One, because there'll be a pastor that is raised up, that plants a church, that wins a village, that wins a community. It's why we give, because the baptismal waters at Cornerstone are sloshing right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The hands are raising, and it's not just in the sanctuary, in our youth ministry and our kids ministry. So it's a miracle offering all the way back to the beginning, because this offering ultimately is about one more person being one to Jesus. And let's do that one more over and over and over and over again. So please pray and ask the Lord what he would have you do. All I care about as the pastor is, did you pray? Did you ask the Lord? And then did you do what he told you to do?
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I'll never know. I'll never know. And I don't want to know. I love staying disconnected from that. Yeah. But if we'll do that, I have no doubt it will be a miracle Sunday that will lead to miracle after miracle after miracle.
Amen. Well, let's see what he does. Share this with somebody that's curious about the offering, and let's go. I'm excited.